Okay, so here's the deal. We're going to multiply them. So basically what you do is what you can do in your head or write it out is fine too, is you're going to group the numbers and multiply them. And then you're going to group the variables and multiply them. So that's why you have like the 12 comes from 3 times 4, and then the 5 is because you add the exponents. Okay. Distributing, like we did some distributing, but we've only done it when it was like a number, or like a negative sign or something. But now you're going to distribute with like variables in there. So like essentially what you do is you multiply 2x times 3x squared times 5x times -1. So you multiply these two, multiply these two, multiply these two. And we'll do examples. Binomial, it's like FOIL is like the janky word for it, but like you're going to take like this first term here, multiply to every term in that one. And then same with the 2. Then you're going to multiply all those. And this one you're going to have to combine like terms with. This guy is just painful, but it's the same thing as this. So like this one is just painful because you have to do 3 terms. Okay, then you got to do another 3 terms when you distribute. So it just takes a while to do it. These have special formulas. You can like memorize that. I honestly really don't. I just multiply it out. So like a plus b squared, you have to write it like this and distribute. So you have to like do what you did up here. Same with this one. So you always have to like rewrite it to like solve it. And I'll show you all the death mistakes. And then this is just like this is a pattern. So I think it's easier when we actually do examples. So I don't think I'm going to do I don't think I'll do 8, but we'll go through some of these. But here, so what you did yesterday, there was plus signs or minus signs in between there. Now, because the parentheses, they're just next to each other, this means multiplication. So the way you do this is you multiply the numbers. So you go like 2 times -3. And then you're going to do like the x's. So I kind of just group the stuff that's the same together. And you don't have to do this every time. I'm just showing you this for your notes so you like get where the stuff's coming from. But you just kind of group all the letters, all the variables that are the same together, and then multiply them. So like the 2 and the -3, you're going to multiply to get -6. And then the x, it's just like what we did in Unit 1. So like you're going to have 1x here, 2 here, so now you have 3. So you're always adding the exponents when you're doing that, when you're multiplying though. And then here, same thing, w to the 3rd, and then z is just like a loner. But this is actually your answer. It like looks kind of dumb or crazy looking, but that's what it is. Okay. And that's because you're multiplying. So that's what's changing exponents now. You're not just like counting how many you have, you're multiplying. So then like number 2, this is just like excessive because there's like negative exponents. So it makes you want to cry a little bit. But like if you got all these terms, it's basically you're taking this 4y squared and distributing it to -5y squared, then to 2y, then to -5, then to 3y to the -1. Gross. Then this one. So it's like I said, it just takes a while, So it's going to be like 4y squared. And you don't need to show this step. I'm just showing it so you like get what's going on. But it's like you're going to distribute it to that guy. You're going to keep the plus signs, like all of these in between. Okay, so you're doing 4y squared times 2y. And then I'm going to keep the minus sign. Okay, and then you're going to do 4y squared. It's like you're writing 4y squared 1,000 times. Times 5. And then plus 4y squared times 3y. This one's kind of weird, the negative. It's kind of weird. And then minus 4y squared times 6y to the -2. So this is what I'm saying. Like all the signs in between I left. Okay. So you could change it to plus a negative too. That's fine, you know, as long as you're consistent. So then like what you're going to do here is you're going to multiply the numbers and then you're going to add the exponents. Multiply the numbers, add the exponents, multiply the numbers, add the exponents, right? So you don't need to show this step like on a test, like no way. You can just go straight to negative 20 and then y to the 4th. So I added the 2 and the 2. And then this one would be 8y. And then this one has like an invisible 1, you know? So that would be the 3rd. And then minus 20y squared. There's no other y's in that one. And then this is where it's kind of weird because it's like you get 12, but then you add the exponent. So even though it's negative, it's still the same rule. So you're going to go 2 plus negative 1, so it's just 1. And then you can write it as 1 as an exponent, but you like don't really need to do that. And then minus 24. And then this one's even weirder because you get a 0 when you add it. So when you have y to the 0, it means you have 0 y's. So like you don't need to write it. So like if I were to write this like the cutest I could, it would be 20y squared. I probably wouldn't put the 1 on the y. And I would just write minus 24. So you don't write the y to the 0 because it says you don't have any y's. So don't put them there. Okay. Do you guys remember this? Maybe? I don't know. But that's what you would do. All right. So this was just painful. So it can be painful a little bit. Okay. This guy is when you're doing, you have to distribute both of the terms. So this one, you're going to have to do 2x to this one and that one. So it's like you're going to go 2x times 3x is 6x squared because you're doing x times x minus, because of the minus here, 2x times y. So you would write 2xy. Okay. And then you're going to go, or here, maybe I should show. Here, you don't need to erase yours. I'm just going to show more work for this so you can see where it's coming from. So that's where the 6x squared comes from. And then I did 2x times, and then this is where I did minus, but it's because it's a minus y, I did negative y. So if I'm going to keep doing the plus signs in there, that's what I want to make sure I'm keeping track of. So then you're going to go y times 3x. And then you're going to go y times, and then same thing, negative y. So you can keep it as plus, or put it minus here, and then make that positive as long as you're like consistent. So like I said, I already kind of did that first one. I got 6x squared. And then this is what I highly recommend for those middle guys. Put the variables alphabetical. So then they look more the same. So like I'm going to write this as minus 2xy. I guess that one was like kind of normal. But the second one, write it as 3xy. That's fine because it's commutative property. You can like switch them around. So this would be 3xy because then it looks more like this one. Do you know what I mean? So you don't like miss it. And then minus y squared. So then now we did the exponents, like change the exponents here. But now with adding... Okay, because these are like terms. They have like the same variables, like same powers and everything. So you would just write 6x squared, and then you have negative 2 plus 3. We're just counting how many xy's you have. So you can either write it as like 1xy or just xy. Maybe I'll just put a 1 so you can see it. So you're not changing exponents when you add. Okay, so multiplying you do, adding you're not doing that, okay? All right. Okay, death mistake. Ready? That's what I call common mistakes, is because then you do the death face, right? Do you know, have you seen, what's that movie, that Christmas movie? With the leg lamp? Christmas Story. There we go. He like puts X's on the eyes of the robbers. Anybody? No? Okay, cool. This is death. That's what people do. They like square each of them. That's like super legal. It's like really, really bad. That's not how you do those ones. The way you do that is you have to write it like this. 2x minus 5. You have to distribute. Okay. So why don't you do that quick and make sure you get the right answer as you go. Combine like term. Okay. So check, you got positive 25 and 4x squared. And then you had to combine the two negative 10s to get negative 20. Negative 20x. Good? Yes? Okay. All right. We're only going to do like 3 more and then we'll call it. So this one, this is fine. It's just painful. Okay. You're just going to have to do a lot of multiplying. So when you're doing this one, you're going to take 2x and times it. Ugh. See, I thought I was going to be in the clear, you know, with this. Okay, yes. So you're going to be doing 2x, there you go, times x squared. Interesting. Okay, so you're going to get 2x cubed. Then you got to go 2x times 3x. So that's going to be 6x squared. Then you got to go 2x times minus 2. Or you can just write minus 4x. And then you got to do the negative 1. So just be super, super, super careful when you have that negative. Now you're going to go negative 1 times x squared. Negative 1 times 3x. Negative 1 times negative 2, positive. Okay, so just be careful with the signs. That's what's going to kill you. And then now you're going to combine the stuff that's the same. So the cubic guy doesn't have anything, so we're just going to write them over. But then we've got squareds we can put together. Right? So we have 6 and then a negative 1. Now we're adding them, so we're not like changing exponents and stuff. We're just going to add them and get 5x squared. It's like figuring out how many of them you have. And then you have negative 4x, negative 3x, so minus 7x, and then plus 2. So that one, you're going to have to combine like 2 sets of like terms for those. Okay. And this one, okay, remember the death. Just like don't do the death, okay? So again, death mistake, what people will do is they'll do 4x squared y squared plus 1. That's what they'll do, okay, for that one. That's wrong, okay? You can't distribute the square. If you don't believe me, figure out what that is. Are you telling me that's 4 plus 9? Do you know what I'm saying? It goes against order of operations. You have to do parentheses first. So the reason this is death is because that's not what that is, right? Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to have to rewrite it and distribute. So 2xy plus 1 times 2xy plus 1, and you're going to do your distributing. Okay, so you're going to take 2xy times 2xy, so 4x squared y squared, 2xy times 1, 2xy, and then you're going to do the same thing with 1. So 2xy plus 1. So just like the other binomials, when you're multiplying them, these middle guys, you got to combine. They both have xy with it. So you're going to do 4x squared y squared and then combine those two together. So you have 4 of them. And then plus 1. So that'd be the answer. Because what we're going to do eventually is go backwards for factoring, which is like hurts the brain really bad. but you'll be fine. Okay. Is there any questions so far? You're kind of quiet. Are we okay? Because we'll do this last one and then we'll call it. This one, if you notice the pattern, you can go straight to the answer. But if you don't, like, no big deal. Just do what you always do, distribute. So, like, you're going to go x times x. But, like, if it's in this form, there's a fancy pattern to it. So if you notice the pattern, it just saves more of your life. So you don't have to, like, do more work. You can be like, go straight to the answer. But when you do your distributing, so x times times -3, or -3, 3x times x, 3 times 3. Notice these guys, you have a positive and a negative, so they cancel out. So what you're left with is just x squared minus 9, which, if you notice, is 3 squared and x squared. So you can go straight to that. You don't need to show that work if you don't want to. All right? So, okay. That's it. I'm going to pass out the homework, but I'm going to have you skip a couple but most people finished in class, I would say.